The illegal alien lobby in this country today has used shocking and harsh language to criticize federal agents who are trying to enforce U.S. immigration laws. Illegal alien activists saying the Department of Homeland Security should stop arresting and stop deporting illegal aliens while Congress considers amnesty legislation. Casey Wian has our report.
Using words like ethnic cleansing and terror, more than a dozen immigrant rights groups are denouncing recent ICE raids targeting criminal illegal aliens, and they're demanding a moratorium on deportations.
It seems that immigration is trying to really wreak havoc within our communities by putting fear, by creating an atmosphere of fear and terror.
We're hoping that, that our demands are met and this kind of vicious ethnic cleansing is stopped.
Claims of ethnic or racial bias are refuted by the fact that ICE deported illegal aliens from 189 nations last year. Even so, activists are seeking the effective end of U.S. immigration law enforcement. Even mainstream Latino activist groups such as MALDEF and LULAC have joined the chorus by writing Homeland Security Secretary Michael Chertoff and demanding an end to ICE's raids.
The open borders lobby is sending out the message, frankly, not only in the United States, but all over the world, that if you come to the United States illegally, you can anticipate that a Democratic Congress and this particular president is going to grant you amnesty. Now, this really compounds the problem.
Last June, ICE launched Operation Return to Sender, a nationwide effort to round up criminal and fugitive illegal aliens and deport them. So far, the crackdown has resulted in at least 14,000 arrests. Activists complain that illegal aliens without criminal records have also been caught by the sweeps, sometimes separating parents from their children.
It's immoral and abominable that the U.S. government is terrorizing immigrant families and sending them the message, fine, come in and mow our lawns and wash our dishes and pick our fruit and vegetables, but we will not allow you to live in peace and dignity.
ICE says family separations are the consequence of choices made by illegal alien parents, and that raids are making immigrant communities safer because they're removing violent criminals who most often prey on legal and illegal immigrants. But the open borders lobby refuses to acknowledge that, and leaders are now promising to take to the streets to protest what Americans have been demanding for years, a serious effort to enforce immigration laws. Lou?
And among those people involved in this, La Raza and the Los Angeles Archdiocese?
Absolutely. The La Raza group is a San Francisco-based group that is not the National Council of La Raza. They're a different organization. The Los Angeles Archdiocese, of course, has been for months, years, supportive of amnesty for illegal aliens, so perhaps it's not surprising that they're supporting the moratorium, Lou.
And have we heard anything from Michael Chertoff, the Secretary of Homeland Security, in response to this inflammatory language being used by these obviously radical elements?
We have not heard from Secretary Chertoff himself, but we have heard from officials of ICE. Their attitude seems to be they don't want to dignify these groups by making too big of an issue of it, right, but they strongly refute their allegations, pointing out that immigration status has no ethnicity nor color.
And the number of congressmen and members of this administration condemning that kind of language?
Don't know what the answer to that is, Lou. We're going to have to see what that is. We haven't spoken to a wide variety of them. I haven't heard much from them.
Right. Well, we'll try to see what we do here and whether or not this kind of outrageous language is allowed to go without response from elected officials in support of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, those agents trying to do a very difficult job. Thank you very much, Casey Wian from Los Angeles. Congressman Duncan Hunter is sponsoring legislation for a congressional pardon for Border Patrol agents Ramos and Campion. Agents Ramos and Campion are serving long prison sentences for the shooting and wounding of an illegal alien drug smuggler who testified against those agents after having been given immunity by the U.S. Attorney. So far, 78 Republican members of Congress have signed on to Congressman Hunter's legislation. The number of Democrats who have added their names, 0. Agents Ramos and Campion have now been in prison for more than 2 weeks. Virginia's legislature is moving towards passage of legislation aimed at shutting down day labor centers. That state, along with others, is acting on its own, trying to control illegal immigration while the federal government does all but nothing. Bill Tucker reports.
There are nearly 50 immigration-related bills under consideration in the Virginia General Assembly. That's almost double the number of bills last year.
What the sum of these bills is for is to make the Commonwealth of Virginia a very uncomfortable place for people who come to this country illegally.
The bills pending would create fines for employers who hire illegal aliens, deny in-state tuition rates to Virginia's public colleges and universities to illegal aliens, expand the power of state and local police in the enforcement of immigration law. One bill, sponsored by State Representative Miller, would deny state and local assistance to illegal aliens. Miller says it is aimed at local organizations and charities who petition the state for funds and then use those taxpayer dollars to aid illegal aliens. The bill is not popular with charities.
When we're providing emergency services, basic services to people in extreme human need, we don't want to be in a position to have to stop and check the citizenship of every person.
The bill denying public funds passed out of the House by a vote of greater than 2-1. Now it is headed to the state Senate, where Miller says it's likely to be approved. Virginia is not alone. Last year, there were 570 bills introduced in 32 state legislatures aimed at tackling the issue of illegal immigration.
States face a choice, really. They can either work to buttress immigration law enforcement or work to undermine it. But the basic policy of immigration and basic immigration enforcement really does come from Washington.
Not every state is looking to crack down on illegal immigration. In Maryland, for example, they're considering offering in-state tuition to illegal aliens in direct violation of federal law. But increasingly, we are seeing state and local police make the choice to aid in the enforcement of federal law. Today, for example, the Sheriff's Department of Davidson County, Tennessee, signed an agreement with ICE to have its deputies trained in immigration law enforcement. Lou, Davidson County is the home to Nashville, Tennessee.
Great. Thank you very much, Bill. Bill Tucker. That leads us to the subject of our poll tonight. Should states be taking the lead in enforcing immigration policy, or should the federal government enforce immigration laws and border and port security? Cast your vote at LeadIops.com. We'll have the results here later. Up next, worrying concerns that radical Islamist terrorists and Venezuela's left-wing president are forming an alliance. We'll have that special report. And in Washington, the head of the House of Representatives that passed ethics reform is now asking for some very special treatment at taxpayer expense and new problems for our nation's struggling middle class, problems that haven't been seen since the Great Depression. We'll have that story for you. A great deal more. Still ahead. Stay with us.